In today's episode, we're rekindling the Antonelli versus Verstappen rivalry around the reverse Zandvoort. And this one off the back of a pretty good Belgium Grand Prix episode, at least for Oscar Piastri. Antonelli a bit of a tougher time, and we tried our best. We tried our best to get a race win with Oscar again, but Colapinto came through with a superior pace. I mean, we got the track position with a very early pit stop, obviously, and it didn't quite work out, but second place is still massive considering how close this championship is. And with Franco Colapinto getting his first win for Red Bull Ford and the team's first win of the season, he has now got himself firmly into the frame for the Drivers' Championship. It's unreal, actually, when you look at it closely. It's a fight of Ocon, Antonelli, Piastri, Colapinto, Verstappen, Tsunoda, even Aaron, I would say, is still kind of in it. I mean, it's been very hard to nail down any sort of pattern with this season in terms of the form book, because at times it's been Williams, Porsche right up there. Verstappen started the season strong, then Ferrari have been thereabouts. We've been strong, and then we've been a little bit slower recently, so it's all up in the air, and it's going to be very exciting coming to a reverse track for the first time in this season. But first of all, we've got some, well, quite surprising sponsor chat, and for the very first time, we have unlocked the ability. I knew this was a thing, but I didn't know if we'd ever get it ourselves. But Butler Global, the fictitious sponsor, obviously, that is the entire part of the story mode of the F1 games in Breaking Point 2 and Breaking Point 3. Butler Global is now a potential new sponsor for our team. You know, we've had a fair few of these sponsors already. You know, we had 2 seasons with Duotone. Before that, 2 seasons with X-Formig. We never really pursued Exxon or Seren because I just honestly don't like the logos and the aesthetics of that. Atlantic we've got currently, and you'll notice the logo subtly around the car, obviously, with the Jaguar partnership we've got. But Butler Global is another sponsor that actually has a pretty damn decent logo, to be honest. You know, the 2 chevron-like structures on the kind of simplistic logo could be quite interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and send an offer. And I think in a weird way, it'll kind of be like a nice funny Easter egg if we were to maybe go with Butler Global. But let me know in the comments below. If you don't fancy me going with that, then do let me know. And we can just blackball that and we can go for something else.
Okay, we've sent off that sponsor contract proposal. With any luck, we'll hear back soon. I'll keep you posted.
But with that being pretty much the only admin in between race weekends, we're ready to go to Zandvoort, and it's going to be the other way around. We have done this once before in the My Team series, and it was quite chaotic. It's a very fun circuit to drive the wrong way around. The racing can also be quite challenging in terms of, you know, a few issues here and there of navigating the circuit when the tire wear kicks in especially. So it should be an exciting one in what has already been a pretty nut season so far. And we're going to switch over, of course, from Piastri to Antonelli and looking to make up for his, you know, quite quiet weekend around Spa.
It is one of the most exciting moments of the entire weekend. Driver versus stopwatch trying to deliver for their team in qualifying to set the grid.
Qualifying around here, I think, will be quite crucial. You can make overtakes for sure around Zandvoort either way, at least on the F1 game. Maybe in real life, not so much, but you can make overtakes. But as we've seen plenty of times this season, kind of almost like in real life, the grid position does matter still. Even though there are plenty of overtakes and there's been so much action, there are also, because the grid is so competitive in the midfield, if you're stuck behind a couple of them and they do give you a good fight, you can basically lose a lot of time in that fight. You know, Antonelli was a case in point in Spa, you know, made up a couple of positions, you know, probably 5 over the course of the entire race, but it wasn't really enough to get anywhere. So, yeah, hoping to make up for his sake, and then for Piastri's AI, hopefully he can navigate himself through. Going to be a tough one to call of who's got the overall pace. It's a very unique circuit and very much more so in reverse. You know, I would feel like maybe McLaren and Verstappen might be good, and they are here in Q1. They top the session. Surprised, though, to see Williams Porsche up there, because I wouldn't have thought they would have been that great with the high downforce needed for this circuit. And it's a howler for Ocon. The championship leader is out, along with Norris and Lawson, so the Honda and Mercedes teams will equally be disappointed. And also the duality of McLaren constantly. Verstappen P1, Lance Stroll second last in that Q1. Absolutely unreal performance there. But that's big. The championship leader is out. So let's not get too excited. Let's just go through the motions. Hopefully get through into Q3, and this is maybe looking like a bit of a nice open goal to try and gain some points on Esteban Ocon, the man who I honestly think has been the most impressive, quietly consistent driver this season, you know. Ferrari, they've won 2 races. They've both been with Ocon. I think he's maybe the only repeat winner of the season so far, and he has been popping in, you know, consistent like top 5 to 6 positions, but this is maybe the first time we've seen him fall off the mark. And it's at a place where Ferrari is still looking good because Albon's up there. He's P1 here in Q2. So that's actually more shocking. That's individually Ocon has had a mare as into the top 10. We both are ourselves with Antonelli and Piastri. We've got one Honda of Bortoleto. Both Williams Porsches are through, which again does surprise me, but fair play to Williams. Maybe, you know, doing some setup work to, you know, alleviate their issues in the kind of downforce necessary, because at times, you know, they have been actually quite poor this season when you need some downforce. The McLaren obviously just solely of Max Verstappen. One Cadillac and a Haas in there as well. So this could be quite interesting of maybe some upsets with those smaller teams in here.
Okay, the guys have found a leak in one of the coolant lines, so we're patching that up as we speak. Hold tight for now until we've got everything checked over.
A cooling fault in the shorter session in qualifying. This is not ideal. We just had 2 races ago a full telemetry fault and a wipe of our heads-up display mid-race. Thankfully, this has come in quali at least, and we're in the top 10, so guaranteed at least P10 in this session. But as I just said, track position could be quite important, and obviously having both cars, I was quite happy that we could maybe be looking very strong for the race. But this is going to delay us, and you might think, Arav, you know, this shouldn't matter too much. It's only 1.5 minutes over a 10-minute session. The problem is, and I didn't realize this, is the clouds are coming in. The weather is coming in around Zandvoort, and as those guys go out for their first lap, I have to wait a little bit. I also waited a little bit to get the traffic out of the way, because traffic is pretty bad around here and there's no real place to go. So by the time we get going for our one and only flying lap, we'd still about 4 minutes to go of this session, so I still left myself time to do everything. But look at the screen, look at the halo, look at the chassis. There is some rain falling. I didn't even really clock there was a forecast for rain over this race weekend. But yeah, it is raining in this flying lap of ours, and it means that I am struggling to get the nose turned in. And across the line, it's going to be a pretty miserable 106.9. May as well be a 107. And we are so far down on the top times. And so that cooling fault has just messed us up. That's actually impacted us a lot there, because the only way that would have gone better is if I went out a bit earlier, but then I could have hit traffic and it would have been a bit slippery, so that would have been maybe even worse. I don't know. There's a lot of ifs here, but the big story is Paul Aaron on pole. So Williams Porsche, the straight line merchants, on pole position around a place like this. Very impressive, I gotta say. And Aaron obviously off the back of the win in Silverstone. That's very impressive. Albon second, which is actually a big indicator of how much of a disaster that was for Ocon to be knocked out, whether his teammate is on the front row. That's big. Verstappen P4 for his home race. Piastri's up there in P5, which I'm happy about. For us, P9, it's a bit frustrating, but it's not a disaster. I think we can still do some good stuff from here. Let's go to the race.
We're on the coast of the North Sea at Zandvoort Circuit, 25 miles outside of Amsterdam. We're all set for the Dutch Grand Prix, a race that the greats have won at, including Jim Clark, who took the biggest trophy home here on 4 occasions. Paul Aaron lines up on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Pepe Marti, Bortoleto, Colapinto, Antonelli and Victor Martins, Sainz, O'Sullivan, Nicholas Solov and Gasly, Doohan, Lawson, Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon, Maloney, Stroll, Barnard and Jack Crawford rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box and welcome to Naomi Schiff. I'm Alex Jakes. Naomi, this is going to be interesting. I love this moment in the weekend. Put us in their shoes right now. What are they feeling on the grid?
It's a very special time for the drivers. It's almost like everything around you slows down and you become hyper aware. So your nerves slightly go up, your adrenaline's going up. It's the perfect time to start focusing on your visualizations and preparing for the race. So you want to avoid distractions and really stay cool, calm, and focused.
One pretty neat thing already about this reverse Zandvoort race is it seems to be a nailed-on two-stop. No matter what the team, even us, will have to pull off a second stop, which is quite exciting because, you know, with the tyre advantage we've had, we've actually enjoyed maybe pulling off a fair few one-stops. And recent races, a lot of the teams around us have also just been on one-stop. So everyone having to make a bit of a strategy call for those two stops. The timing, the compounds is going to be interesting, and such is that strategy is we and a fair few others on the soft compound to start things off. It may be a soft, medium soft affair, which is very aggressive and should be quite fun to see. But from P9, we're going to have to use this soft to good use in the first stint and try and make up a couple of positions, hopefully, as we go towards 5 red lights. Paul Aaron on pole position, the Ferrari of AIRBORNE alongside him. Lights out, and we're underway for the Dutch Grand Prix the other way around as we get a good getaway versus Colapinto on the medium. So we're expected to try and get that Red Bull forward early days. That was the battle we had last episode in the shoes of Piastri. We've now got the last race winner, and he's behind in P9, and we're trying to get Bortoletto into the right-hander. This corner is so tricky for traction. We have to give him the room, and we just narrowly miss the grass on the right as it's Aaron still in first, but Tsunoda, he's up to second place. So the Ferrari, not with the best start. And look at the mini-map. I think Verstappen is already on the back of the Ferrari. So it's a 1-2 for Williams Porsche around here. I would not have bet you anything that Williams Porsche would be having a 1-2 in this Grand Prix at any point, really. So I'm very surprised by that. Is this maybe the sign that they really are ready to contend for the championship, maybe? As on to lap 3, Verstappen pulls out for the move into that epic turn 1 banking, and Piastri makes the move on Marty. We follow him through, and we're going to get the elbow out on the Haas to get up into P6. So 5-6 right now. Pretty solid, actually. I wouldn't be too annoyed if it stabilised like this, but I've got my eyes on trying to overtake Piastri, of course, and see what we can do in clean air. But we actually have Bortoletto there frustrating us a little bit initially, as we had to chop him off at the defensive line. It's a virtual safety car. Oh my goodness me! Wow, the Renaults really are made of blue tack and good hope and goodwill this season, aren't they? As that's another Renault airborne, not for the first time this season, and we are going to make a very ballsy call because the virtual safety car just turned into a full safety car, and I'm in. I'm in on lap 3. Now, this seems very, very ballsy and a bit of a gamble. I'm the only one in right now, but hear me out. You know, obviously this season we've tried this a fair few times, getting that trap position in a race like this where it seemed like we could pull off a 2-stop with soft and medium. My thinking is come in, get that free pit stop onto hards, go longer, get the track position from the undercut of having this free pit stop, and then still go onto maybe a medium. But I think this could be a good way for us to get track position, like in Spa, and give us a chance at the race win. Because based off those first few laps, we don't really know for sure, but I had a hunch that, you know, maybe Williams Porsche might be nailing down that 1-2, and this is a way to try and disrupt them a little bit later on in this race. Right now, it's early days. We are very much in last place as it stands right now, but we need to be patient. You guys need to be patient with me, and this strategy will come towards us. We just need to believe in the pace of the car and how it's going to keep these hard tyres, and also we do need to make a couple of overtakes here, and so that's going to be quite exciting, I guess, in this second stint, rather than just being stuck maybe trying to fight Piastri and then close up to Verstappen, etc. This way we're going to get our way through and kind of almost try and solidify the undercut. The more places we get and the quicker we go now, the more powerful this long-term free pit stop safety car undercut is going to be, because we're already guaranteed to gain positions just because we've got that free pit stop. But getting moves done now and getting closer to the top 5 in this part of the race will just mean that gap to second is bigger, because I genuinely think we should be nailed on to be in first place at some point later on in this race, unless there's another safety car in the next 5 laps as we lose the back end on Maloney as we made the move into the carousel into P18. Now closing up to the other Renault of Dew and his teammate, the one who was out. That allowed us to pull off this strategy call. Looking for a good run out that left-hander. Both of us with DRS open, but we're using a fair amount of battery, and we are going to just dive it. And at this point, lap 8, maybe the tyre wear is starting to creep in for the soft runners ahead of us, so I'm fancying my chances versus Norris. Stroll ahead, and we're up to P17. This is steady, but pretty good progress, I would say, considering we're on a hard tyre, 2 steps softer, harder, I should say, than the guys around us. And we're actually going to make a move on the outside of Norris. The reigning champ is caught napping completely, and we dance around the outside of him and maybe even Lance Stroll through the final corner. It's going to be a drag race on to the next lap. There's a slower car ahead though. It's Marty retiring. We go either side of him. We actually got an illegal overtake. We have to give back the position momentarily on Lance Stroll and then retake the position, but that could have been pretty nasty if we hadn't seen that ahead of us. So Marty, that's a bit upsetting for him, because I think he was, well, I think still running in a P6. So the BWT Haas retiring from a very solid position with an engine failure, as my engineer Mark has been telling me. The tyre wear has been so good that we can definitely delay the pit stop more than they were thinking, and so that's positive news from my side, as we were just about to catch Gasly. He's come in for the pits, and we've got a load of people in the pit stop. So already lap 11 they're coming in, so we're going to already see ourselves catapulting towards the front end. We're up to P8. We're going to try and make that P7 right here on Lawson. Dive down the inside really late on the brakes, and the hard tyre is still giving us a good amount of grip as Piastri is now in. Martins in the Cadillac will continue on. Actually, he's on medium, so it makes a bit more sense for him to continue on, although Colapinto is in. He was on mediums as well. So Martins carries on, and this is actually now turned into a fight and a very ballsy overtake, I would say, actually, there, as we got very close to the grass, and on it, actually, in fact, and quite close to the wall there. And Martins is giving us a real good fight, actually, for this second place on the road, and it's going to be P1 eventually, because Tsunoda is the only other car ahead of us. So we've got the overtake on the Cadillac, and so this is it, that we are going to be in first place. There's no doubt about it, because Tsunoda is on softs. He's actually surprisingly gone longer than some other people on mediums. So this is why I wanted to try this strategy, because it looks like Williams Porsche are pretty damn dominant around here. Saying that though, later on, only 2 laps later, obviously we're now in first. Tsunoda's made his pit stop, and Verstappen's actually ahead of him as he goes on the outside of Doohan. So Verstappen's undercut the 2 Williams Porsches. So for their fight, well, the Dutchman, the home favourite, he's got in the mixer, and he's actually the one who gets first dibs at overtaking all of these other slower cars who are out of sync of this strategy, because it looks like Martins and Maloney are going a lot longer. Maybe Cadillac are trying a very ballsy one-stop, dare I say. Piastri's not too far off in P9, but yeah, it's going to be Verstappen that overtakes Martins to be the first car in clean air to chase after yours truly. So yeah, Williams Porsche have been caught napping a little bit there on the strategy, and McLaren and Verstappen vying for first place now, as we're not too far down the road, to be honest. Even though we've got the track position, you know, they're very quick on those mediums, and now on lap 18 it is time for us, well, to go a little bit wide there, as the tyre wear maybe is kicking in now on the hard tyres. We're going to pit around lap 22, 23, so we're not too far off. We've done really well, but now this is our chance to really try and annoy these guys and defend with everything we got. It's going to be tough. We're on the hards, worn hard tyres, they're on mediums, and almost immediately on the first lap of asking, Verstappen has got it under 1 second and pressurizes us, and I am having to tactically save ERS to use at the right moments at the right time. Even now, saving ERS down that DRS straight to ensure that we have enough for later on, not just on this lap, but onto lap 20, because of course it's just all about that lap to lap ERS battery management, especially when you're up against it on much quicker cars. Verstappen tried a look on the inside, didn't quite work out. Lap 20, he has another chance, but it's another chance for us to soak up the pressure and just annoy them even more. But he's got a good run with DRS, I've got to say. We're using battery to defend the inside, but we're going to go deep. Verstappen cuts back in, and now we're going to be neck and neck. Antonelli versus Verstappen once again, and look at Verstappen on the outside, trying it the long way around. We get the elbow out. It's very close, no contact made though, and it's insane racing in Sector 2 between, well, at this point in the career, two titans in Formula 1. Antonelli yet to be a champion in the series, and we're trying our hardest this season to try and make that a reality maybe. Or could it be Oscar Piastri, of course, who is in P6. He's not too far off here, so Piastri might have a quiet chance if he can try and close up a little bit, because we're basically helping him out. We're forcing all these guys back towards him, and look at the mini-map. There is a train there now that Piastri's part of, as Tsunoda's in. Tsunoda's in. We're at 22. We were going to pit maybe on this lap, but now I need to worry a little bit about Piastri maybe coming in, and also Tsunoda. I wanted to come in maybe on this lap to make sure we covered off Tsunoda, because he might have learned from his own demise and he's trying to undercut us. But the issue was, I've got my teammate to worry about, and Piastri can thank me later, because on purpose I stayed out because I had a hunch he would come in. He has, so we're not double stacking with Piastri, so he's going to owe me one at the end of this race if that works out for him, as we wait until lap 23, maybe our scheduled pit stop in the end of it, to come in along with Aaron and Albon. So Verstappen, Tsunoda, Piastri, they've already been in, so there's the worry they've undercut us. Let's see. I think we did a pretty good job on the in-lap, to be honest. So let's just see how this goes. We come in now onto the medium tyre, by the way.
Seems to have been a problem attaching the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us, though, and finish this race
It's a 5.7 stop. We're behind Aaron. We're behind Albon. The team have just thrown that away in the pit stop. We come out right behind the Ferrari. Oh, we nearly hit Verstappen. What? Piastri's up in the air. Piastri's upside down, and Piastri is out of the race. Colapinto as well, was it? I don't know. I think it was a Cadillac, actually, as there's another airborne casualty in this season. What are we feeding these cars? They're so prone to going up into the air in this season. And so Piastri's going to owe me nothing at the end of the race, because he's out. He's out. And this is the replay. Albon is a lucky man. I kind of wish there's no ghosting in career, because that should have been a bigger shunt with Albon there. And oh my days, Verstappen's POV is insane. And this is how it happened then. Oh, the Williams took out the Cadillac and Piastri. The Cadillac... the Cadillac got taken out by the Williams exiting the pits. Piastri gets catapulted into the air after... careering into the rear of that same Williams. I think it must have been Aaron, because he's got a 10-second penalty. So Paul Aaron penalised for causing a double DNF. And Verstappen is a lucky man, because Colapinto ghosted through him. That would have been a nasty crash. And Albon's lucky because he ghosted through Piastri. So 10 laps to go in this one, and that was... wow, that was some pit lane exit, I gotta say. And we're actually quite lucky we were maybe behind Albon for that one. Otherwise, we might have been caught up in that Piastri crash, if you really think about it. And now, on the exit, as we return to green flag racing from that safety car, we get Albon very quickly. We're pushing the limits with a snap of oversteer from the grass, because I can see ahead, Doohan has finessed his way into a legitimate second place, and he's holding up both Williams cars. This is our chance. We send it on Aaron, because he's got a 10-second penalty. I'm not getting stuck behind someone who's just going to fall back at the end of the race because of their penalty for taking my teammates out and another car. And look who's in the lead. It's the other Cadillac. So you know what? That's kind of like good karma. the other Cadillac got taken out by the Williams, and it meant that Martins, the other one left in the race, is in the lead as we absolutely send it at the carousel on Tsunoda. Lock up. Oh, look at the drift from Tsunoda. This is turning into an insanely intense battle with the Williams Porsche. Not for the first time. They really are, I would say, very much intense rival of the season. Even though Ferrari are leading with Ocon in the standings, make no mistake, there is a tension in the air every time we fight a Williams Porsche, and more so Tsunoda really as well, who's been very aggressive with both of our drivers now in the season. But we're up to third place, and now if we can get past Doohan, we could maybe try and ruin Cadillac's party. I'm sorry to say to the American team, but that's what I want to try and do, because that safety car, although it's frustrating the context, Piastri being taken out, that safety car has brought us right into it, because we would have had a lot more time to gain if there not been a safety car. But now we're right there, we're on a softer compound, but the problem is I am facing the same traffic that the Williams guys just did. Doohan is actually doing a very good job at placing his car just so awkwardly that we can't quite make a move as we nearly rear end the Renault there, and now losing the back end a little bit. We can't quite get it, and now the Williams out of nowhere dives it to the inside. The other one comes through. No, Aaron's hit us. He's hit us again. What is this guy's problem? What is this guy's problem? FIA, how is this guy not got a drive-through by now? Paul Aaron has been on #1 hate watch for the entire grid, I swear. He's just hit us twice, and we've got a red front wing. He's taken 2 drivers out, and he's now given me pretty much terminal race-ending damage in terms of I'm going to probably have to make a pit stop now. There is no way I can carry this on and get anything from this race. I'm trying my hardest here to fight Verstappen, Colapinto. They go either side of me, and the understeer. And we've just been pushed off by Stroll. Brilliant. Absolutely. And now we've been pushed off by... Brilliant. Solov's passes. Crawford. Oh, my... How have we not DNF there? I can't believe our tyre didn't shear off. I need to box. We're stoned at last. Ocon. Oh, wow. What the? I've only just seen that. Ocon 17th. Oh, my dad. Oh, that's even worse now. That damage for us, that's even worse. So we can't capitalise on Ocon still being nowhere with 0 points. So the biggest winners are going to be Williams. It's going to be Tsunoda. It's going to be Verstappen, actually, as well, if you think about it, and Colapinto, maybe. And it's all because of Paul Aaron. So on lap 32, Martins still leads them, by the way. He's being chased after by Tsunoda, but he's doing a bloody good job, the Cadillac. Albon's third. Doohan is being passed. So Doohan, he's off the podium, and he's going to be tumbling down the order. And Verstappen is going to be looking to carve his way through the home Grand Prix. This is then a replay, lap 35, and this is the Renault gets taken out. After all of that, it's commiserations to Doohan. Colapinto, I think that is, takes him out. And so we come to the last lap of the Grand Prix, and the Cadillac has actually found a groove, and he's extended his lead. It's going to be Tsunoda and Aaron 2-3, but Aaron has a 10-second penalty. So Verstappen could be the home favourite on the podium, but the bigger story is Cadillac F1 getting their first ever win in Formula 1. It's a true underdog story today around Zandvoort, and it's all from that safety car. That safety car that, was caused by Piastri crashing. That allowed Cadillac to finesse this one. And what a win it is.
It's one thing to put fast laps together, but to make these moves stick without losing too much time, that's real racecraft.
This race has turned out to be one of those true underdog, oh my God, moments in the season. Cadillac and Victor Martins winning it. And look at this now. Ocon still leads. He still leads, but now the top 6 drivers are separated by 9 points. It's a day to forget for ourselves with Antonelli and Piastri, but the others have gained, and it's ridiculous how close things are in the Drivers' Championship. Somehow, we're still leading by 10 points, owing to both our drivers being up there and, you know, what you can do driving as both drivers and kind of having equal consistency. But oh my god, anyone could win it. Anyone could win it in the Drivers' Championship. And the way this season's gone, you just can't call it. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.